Dragon deck.
Oh.
But here we have it in 2023. Even without those, we are playing Thunder Dragons. Now adding the Bystials. And I mean, Bystials plus Thunder Dragons, just by immediately thinking about it, I'm like, there's a connection because you want to banish the Thunder Dragon cards from your graveyard. That just works like a charm.
And
Did we just see normal summon Armageddon Knight?
Oh, what year is it? Armageddon Knight from
the
Phantom
mother
Darkness.
of all combo starters.
Indeed, and we are going to send the Thunder Dragon Roar to the graveyard.
Fabian wondering, am I in 2019? Is this?
Oh, and there comes the Chaos-based discard. Jerusalem, that must feel good.
Fabian is not in for a good time right here. This is the dream scenario.
We're definitely in for a good time right here. This
Absolutely.
is I'm just amazed. I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know what the sort of end field is. I'm loving all of it. Like, obviously, no Thunder Dragon Colossus anymore, which is probably why we've not been seeing so many of these Thunder monsters. But still, they're so easy to banish now. You don't just need to use Wyvern Buster and Collapse Serpent. You've got all of the Bystials.
Totally, absolutely. And I mean, of course, no Colossus, as you just mentioned, because that card is now forbidden. But there's also no Titan in this extra deck. There's not even a single fusion monster in this extra deck, to be exact. So I'm guessing all the Thunder Dragon cards are just there as link fodder, I would assume.
Yeah, I think so too. And usually we see that in this deck list, I think there's only one Armageddon Knight, this kind of Dragon Link version with the Thunder Spice, with the static, as we call it. It's running triple Battery Man Solar, so this is the card you really prefer here.
Totally. So, of course, we are going to grab the one Black Dragon Collapse Serpent from our deck, special summoning it out right away. Now there's, of course, the Chaos Space that is going to put back the White Dragon and immediately going to draw us a card.
Woo. Next draw already. So many draws this weekend.
Oh,
okay.
and look at that. Yes, that is a card you usually don't see in Dragon Link, but in this Thunder Dragon deck, it's very popular. This is going to be Saruya coming down here.
This is straight out of 2019, isn't it? And then there's going to be the Guard Dragon underneath the Saruya. This is amazing.
I'm afraid he's going to summon LP next.
Let's hope not.
LP and Agapane, why not?
But I mean, like, Saruya kind of making a comeback this weekend, right? We saw Dark World really playing with it, and now there's this Bystial Thunder Dragon deck here.
We saw Bryce, I think, already twice on stream, one pre-recorded and one live match as well.
Saruya is just one of these amazing cards in combo decks. It does so much. It lets you just turn like your spare monsters on the field into a bunch of draws, and then lets you summon another monster from your hand. Beautifully made for the combo
Look at the
deck.
hand of Esteban. Of course, it's only for a second that he has so many cards in hand because he has to put back 3. But overall, that's just such an amazing play right there. And you can decide which ones to keep, which is so good.
Yeah.
I think I already see a Branded Beast in his hand, which is a beautiful and strong interruption.
It's nice, you know, you can dream you have that many cards in your hand. But at the end of the day, a lot of them are just coming for free, right? You've got that search off the Thunder Dragon Dark already. You've got the dragon that you can't summon this turn. I think this should be the White Dragon in your hand. So a lot of stuff you really don't mind putting back. And the Boot Sector launch. I probably said that wrong. Is it Boot Sector launch?
Boot Sector launch.
That is just his name. Okay, excellent.
Just to prove it.
You're proving it.
Oh, interesting. Look at that. We are discarding the Druid's Room for the effect of Cypher, meaning we're going to grab a level 6, just grabbing us another Bystial, and it's going to be Saronir. But of course, there is an explanation for that. Saronir, basically the only Bystial with another graveyard effect, besides Druid's Room, but the only Bystial that has a useful graveyard effect here because it can send another Bystial card from the deck to the graveyard.
Surely the only explanation is Magnum is already in hand, right?
Or a branded spell trap, by the way.
Oh, true. I mean,
or God Rings.
There they are. Oh gosh, again.
Atom?
Not for the first time. It has to be again the King of Atom.
Yes, let's go! Great Dragon exceeds monsters in this strategy, and Saronir, of course, will always trigger when you say.
Oh, this is why. So we've got the Magnum.
There's the Magnum, yep, and also the Saronir. This is crazy, quite frankly. I'm already super impressed by it.
I'm sold.
You're sold?
I want to play this deck.
Same, absolutely. Absolutely same. So there's the Lubellion that was just sent to the graveyard, and we are going to activate the Regained. Of course we can now activate the Regained because the Branded Beast already sits pretty in our hand. So we are going to end on both here, I'm pretty sure.
But Basti, please play a little bit of fortune, of a fortune teller here. What are the cards that he could summon to end the turn, or to to his end field.
I think we said that the Thunder Dragon cards basically are just link fodder, and I'm assuming that IP Masquerena would be one of the cards that would be pretty reasonable on his end field. And
Good
there
one.
it is. Okay, I was pretty good at fortune telling there, not gonna lie. And besides that, of course, it's a little different. Like, you're not going for the Borderland Dragon because this is a mixture of a Dragon Link deck, so you don't really have enough dragons to really even get to it. But besides that, Chaos Angel is a card that I can see because it's a Synchro 10 that is pretty generic.
Is there Baron in the extra deck?
There is not even Baron, no.
I'm amazed to see it. This is like the first deck that can make
Yeah.
synchros that doesn't... Is there no rockets in the deck? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, there's no rockets.
Like, just the boot sack to launch?
Wait, is there boot sack to launch?
Did he made the Striker Dragon. I thought he added boot sack to launch.
I think
there's
there's
no-
the Bystial strategies always play Striker Drag, but not all the time. They're going for the boot sector launch
And yeah,
route.
there's no boot
I think
sack
I
to
just saw the... I kind of skipped a step in my head once I saw the Striker Dragon. I just didn't... There was no
But
boot sector
there
at any
is
point.
the end phase. So to be fair, a lot of times Bystial Control was something that was very popular over the last couple of weeks, and that only went for Seal's Pass a lot of the time. And this is Seal's Pass plus IP, which I do definitely like. And now Fabian is playing kind of a mind game maybe, because he's revealing Kashtira Fenrir, but he's not revealing yet what his actual strategy is.
Actually, Fenrir is crazy versus this field, because if you're activating the seal, you can bounce back the Fenrir, but then again,
That is Book of Eclipse
Wow.
right away, which would be really, really, really amazing versus regular Kashtira, because
That's
they
true.
would have a monster in the main monster zone. But what Esteban doesn't know, this is not regular Kashtira. This is just Gold Pride Punk with a couple of Fenrirs being thrown into it.
Fenrir is such a versatile card. You can pretty much throw it into any strategy you want almost.
the hand of Fabian looks massive as well. We can see triple tactic talents, which most certainly is going to be activated at some point because there is seal and IP. There
Is it now?
I think
emergency teleport as
you
well.
probably already activated the Magna mode, right? That was just special
No, that
summons.
was Branded Regained, I think.
Yeah,
But I mean,
you
still-
use the effect.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
right, absolutely.
So, talents. Do we activate talents to take here? Because that kind of forces out a bunch of stuff by our opponent, doesn't it?
I mean, if you activate the IP, then
You just
big
take whatever
monster's
gets
just going
summoned.
to take.
I feel like if it's take, you just let it through.
Probably, because chaining the IP doesn't do anything. You could theoretically chain the seals, to be honest.
You could chain the
No.
seal and bounce your own monster. It doesn't feel good though.
We're now going to take control of seals, and I mean, that is decent actually, because that means that both effects are going to be shut down. And there's the emergency teleport. So Esteban sees the bad news. This is not regular Kashtira, but no, there's going to be a psychic monster joining the field here.
Does Esteban have any sort of interaction coming from his hand?
Chained the Baldric, and that is actually going to be an interruption because Baldric is like the only real Bystial that has an on-field effect. So when Fabian decides to special summon out a monster from his extra deck, that would give Bystial Baldric the trigger to banish one monster on the side of Fabian.
Also, if he summons a ritual monster, you can do it as well.
True,
for
that's
some
actually not
reason.
coming from an extra deck. Oh! And it's the unpopular choice of bringing out Vagon. Usually, it's always going to be Zeamin, but we are going for Vagon first.
I mean, we might have a Zeamin in the hand already.
Must be.
And look at this. Like I'd already forgotten about this, but he just banished a Thunder Dragon Dark, so he's going to get to
Yeah.
add a Thunder Dragon, then he's going to get to return it and draw a card. This is like insane.
Yeah, the
value.
synergy there is just crazy.
He didn't even try to look at the graveyard of Fabian. Maybe because he just knew that there wasn't a monster, but he just rather wanted to get rid of the dark in the graveyard, trigger it, draw a card. And now we're reading the wagon.
Yeah, Wagon can search any Punk spell card, and there is only one in his deck, and that's the field spell. It's Punk Jam Extreme Session, which is, quite frankly, one of the most powerful field spell cards that I
Yes.
know, to be honest.
Apart from maybe the Abyss Actor field spell, which we have talked about
That's a
earlier
very
lot.
specific one, but yeah,
Yeah.
we actually talked about that earlier on today, because there was an Abyss Actor player doing pretty well in the main event until some point, and then he got some unfortunate losses, but that's IP Masquerena using monsters on the opponent's side of the field, and that can only mean that we're going to summon out the good old Underworld Goddess.
But that is a really big commitment here, you know?
It's quite an investment, right?
Yeah.
Because now there is normal summon Zeamin, and that's actually pretty crazy. because we do not really have an interruption anymore, but there is the Druisworm right away.
And there is also a Branded Beast set, I assume, that we
yeah.
have seen in the hand. So I think that was a trap card. It really looked like Branded Beast. That would get rid of 2 more monsters here. And then Fabian would really have to see where he can go from here. Maybe he has a Foxy Tune in hand as well.
I'm interested what you can send. Can you send the Fenrir with Druisworm? Because it has to target a special summon monster. I assume you can still send the Fenrir if you want to.
I think the set monsters still remember that they're a special summon.
Yeah, I think so, until you flip summon it again and then it's flip summon. Can be a bit confusing dealing with rulings surrounding monsters that have been set face down, but I think you're right.
We'll see.
We will see. Fortunately, we have judges on hand.
Yeah, and they're very good ones. Oh, and that is going to be
Wow.
a scoop by Fabian. I think Esteban...
And I can't wait for it to happen because I don't think that they're interrupted by Bystials that much.
There are a couple of points where you could Bystial, but all around it's not really that well versus the deck. There are other matchups where you are using your Bystials way better than in this one.
I'm looking forward to seeing Fabian start here because...
Ooh, it's Foxy Tune right away. Esteban sees the news, and we are discarding with Psychic Tracker, which is usually an extender you want to search out with your good old Punk Jam Dragon Drive. So having that in your opening hand is not really optimal.
And this is a kind of a neat one because this enables you to go for an easy Barkion.
It is indeed, but we have the hard-drawn Extreme Session. That is huge, because now right away, with the first Punk effect we're using and we're paying life points for, being the Xiamin, we will be able to also draw cards from our deck.
Yeah, and our testing, where I was playing Tier Elements and you were playing Punk, were also extreme testing sessions because you just summoned Psychic and Punisher and then I lost.
Indeed, and of course he is still playing that Psychic and Punisher. Still, to this day, a very powerful card that can just quickly seal duels by just gaining infinite attack points. In this strategy specifically, it will always gain so many attack points because you are paying life points for your own effects.
Yeah, it's a very nice synergy between the decks that Gold Pride need you to lose life points. So you just play this engine where they make you pay life points, which is normally a downside, but in this case it's kind of an upside.
Absolutely, and we are searching out the Sharakuzai. You might be wondering, oh wait, we did not even normal. I was saying we can't normal this anymore, but we didn't normal yet because that was special summoned out by the Foxy Tune. But we would also have a way to special summon with the Extreme Session later on as well.
I was thinking if Fabian just summoned his entire deck in attack position there. No, this was just offered to cut before. So we are going... Oh, there's even emergency teleport. This is just everything he wants.
We do go after the Foxy Tune with our Magnamut here.
That seems a bit odd, because you could kind of do that at any time. Was there any reason to do that now?
I think he wanted to prevent him using the Extreme Session here, because you need to banish a Punk card from the graveyard. But maybe Esteban forgot that he actually did not normal summon yet, because that is just what happened. We are paying 600 life points now for the Shakuzai to fusion summon here into the YuGiOhCardEU Rising card.
Also, you're playing into Talons heavily here. And as well, if you are trying to go for a Deer Note play, which might as well happen here. Oh, we picked up a Solemn Judgment with the Extreme Session. This is absolutely crazy. So YuGiOhCardEU is going to summon out 2 monsters from the deck now that equal level 8. And I think that one of them is going to be Deer Note, and Deer Note sometimes just wants to summon back a Foxy Tune, and then you can Magnamut.
That's true. I think it was... Oh, we're special summoning out 2 level 3s.
To get the next jump
interesting. But we only do play 1 Extreme Session, so that's not going to work out. Also, I think it was kind of interesting by Fabian to use the effect of Extreme Session to draw for a second time already before bringing out Madame Spider, because he himself there took the risk to just draw into the trap card he just searched out there, and it would have been pretty unfortunate because he then would have had not a way to search the trap with it.
Yeah, but he found a trap card, and it is Solemn Judgment, so it actually benefited him to not search for the card first and shuffle the deck, because then he could have drawn a card that doesn't really help him at all. But now I'm curious to see where he's going with those 2 level 3 tuners on the field.
Might be to make the rank 3 Gold Pride.
Totally, I think we are going to see Gold Pride Chariot carry here.
Nice little bridge between the 2 engines.
So, but first of all, we are now going to use the effect of Jam Session.
Deer Note in hand.
Indeed, there we go. That gives us the chance to synchro into a level 8, and I would assume that that is going to be the Punk Jam Dragon Drive that I was talking about earlier. There it is. And
Yeah, that's my jam.
the cool thing about this is you can just play a one-off Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit in your deck to search it out there.
And actually, Ghost Ogre playing it for... Is he playing it? Yes.
Yes, he is.
It is actually sometimes really, really good in this format because you are going to face a lot of gigantic sprites.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking about it, how decent is it versus the Bystial Thunder Dragon deck?
Oh, it's a good hit on LP.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, that's actually true.
That's what you did back in the day against the Guard Dragon cards. So
I guess you did, yeah.
So that... Oh, that is a rank 8 now. We are special summoning back the card.
38.
And that is going to be... Wow, we are going for number 90 Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. That's a card we haven't seen in a while. And that is indeed just a negate, which you can get out of those 2 level 8 monsters there. And during your opponent's turn, you can... No, when an opponent's monster activates this effect, you can just attach raw material to negate that effect and also destroy the monster.
Woo!
That's pretty nice, just a generic monster negate.
And you can add Galaxy cards from your deck.
I don't know whether we're going to see that, but yes, in theory, that's possible. Oh, and he has not even used the emergency teleport. He was holding that until now, and he can now special summon out Xiamin again, and that again leads to 2 level 3 monsters on the field. And as we were already guessing before, this will be Gold Pride Chariot carry.
Yep, and that one is a fantastic card from the newest set, Cyberstorm Axis.
It is indeed. And he will be able to now also get his Gold Pride engine going. To be fair, now Esteban finally knows that there's also Gold Pride in there, because so far in both games there was only Punk, but now there's also Gold Pride.
And I think this one adds a Gold Pride spell card from the deck to the hand. The Gold Pride extract monsters are quite unique in the way that they just send themselves back to the extra deck. Actually, that's not unique.
I was going to
Neos
say,
was doing that
yeah, we
before.
saw Neos earlier today. These are a bit like Neospatians, aren't they?
They are indeed.
Although unfortunately there's no Neo space for them. But I think the Gold Pride Better Luck Next Time is very similar to it.
So we do search out the Better Luck Next Time, and in the process of that we also put the Roller Baller, the one-off to the graveyard.
Yeah, you get these, all of the Gold Pride monsters have a little bonus effect if your life points are lower than your opponent. So Fabian, being at 5,600 from the life points he's paid from his Punk cards, is going to get the bonus effect of carry. In addition to adding a spell, you also get to send a monster from your deck to the grave.
And what's the benefit of having Roller Baller in your graveyard there?
That's a good question.
So
maybe you can bring it back with
can,
Leon in the future.
Yeah, special summon a Gold Pride monster.
Yeah.
It just helps to get your Gold Pride engine rolling.
And there we are activating Better Luck Next Time, searching ourselves Gold Pride Captain Carry. And I want to say Captain Carry probably the strongest of the main deck monsters for the deck.
Lets you add a trap, I think.
And the trap is like incredibly powerful. We already have the Punk trap in our hand, but the Gold Pride trap, Start Your Engines, is just insane. And there he adds it to his hand.
This leads to a lot of interruptions. Start Your Engines can summon back a Leon from the graveyard. There we get, from the deck. There we get the Leon from the hand already. They are going to go to the graveyard, and we are going to see.
Oh, that is absolutely Gold Pride Star Leon, and Gold Pride Star Leon will target the Magnamoot here.
I think it's just going to target it, and then it's going to gain some attack, which isn't really relevant because it's going to go back to the extra deck during the end phase.
If you're lower, it's going to pop
But then it pops it, yeah.
And you are always going to be lower life points than your opponent. That is really, really neat. I mean, Esteban here knows that his opponent has the Jaruri Punk Dangerous Gabu. He knows about the Start Your Engines. What he doesn't know is the Solemn Judgment, but that's a lot of interruptions. On top of that, he does know about the Ghost Ogre as well, though. So that's just so many interruptions that Fabian has set up here. I love it.
Are we going to get to draw 2 cards from the Start Your Engines? Is that once per turn?
I think it's once per turn.
Okay.
Or is this...
Sorry, I made,
better
made you
luck
search
next
the
time.
wrong card. Yeah, Better Luck Next Time.
So now both Gold Pride monsters on the field are going to trigger in the end phase, as you were just saying earlier.
They sort of tag out for their respective Gold Pride monsters. So all of the Gold Pride monsters have a sort of special extra deck monster that they're attached to. So the Chariot should summon back Captain Carry, and the Synchro should summon back Leon.
Totally. I think, honestly, Gold Pride Punk might be one of those decks that could perform a similar story than Vika Son of Along did last year for the European Championship, because people still don't really know about the Gold Pride stuff, so this could catch a lot of people by surprise, and this might be the story of the weekend, just Fabian Ruland with his Gold Pride P.U.N.K deck catching people by surprise.
Yeah, it's interesting because Gold Pride is a TCG exclusive archetype, if I'm not mistaken. So oftentimes when new cards are coming out, people look at how they've performed in the OCG where they get released a little bit sooner. But we haven't seen this, so it's up to us TCG players to try and figure out how best to use the new cards.
Totally. So we're starting things off with the Druid Swarm.
I think we haven't
still
started.
the end phase, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're in the end phase.
Oh, we're still in the end phase,
but
fair
this
enough.
Opens up a possible negation, right?
That is absolutely what we're going to do.
Negate and destroy.
I think it does destroy. We checked on it earlier, but wait, let's double check because he's now searching for something with the Magnamut.
Can you repeat the name for me?
When an opponent's monster activates its effect, you can detach material from this card, negate that monster's effect. It does not. Oh, wait.
And if a material is a Galaxy Ice card,
it only destroys if you detach the Galaxy card. Fair enough. So it was actually worth activating the Druid Swarm there.
Did anyone catch what he added with the Magnet?
Probably a Bystial.
It most likely was that Lubellion, right? That's a pretty good ad.
Oh, and by the way, there is a valuable target for Bystials in the graveyard of Fabian, which would be the Jam Dragon, right?
That is also an Earth monster, as so many of the Planet monsters.
Oh, it looked very much like a light there.
Totally, yeah. So, adding another copy of Magnamut. I like that interaction of activating Magnamut and then searching for Lubellion, just immediately grabbing the Magnamut again. So it's just an endless cycle of Magnamut searches.
Yeah, it's great if you're the dragon player.
Yeah, for sure. Like, because technically you can't search Magnamut with Magnamut, but by playing the Lubellion you then can.
Bit of a loophole, right?
pretty nice. So Chaos Space is going to grab out the Dark Dragon.
Kind of looks like he drew the Lubellion for turn as well, because he just discarded one. I think he wouldn't have searched one if he had
I would agree, yeah.
already.
And maybe because he's discarding a Lubellion, might mean he's not got any Thunders in hand, so a bit sad.
Yeah.
I was really enjoying seeing the Thunder synergy with the Bystials.
It's making me a bit nostalgic.
Definitely. I played that deck for the 2019 European Championships.
I think Fabian was pretty quick in allowing Chaos Space there, because he does have the Solemn Judgment set there, and I think Chaos Space is a card you consider to use Solemn Judgment on, because that is just an easy 2-for-1 there.
Solemn Judgment, even though it kind of looks like when you read it, it can negate everything. In fact, nowadays, because monster effects are so prevalent, it doesn't actually negate monster effects. So you can sometimes sneak monsters through like the Bystials, and then, yeah, before you wouldn't get a chance to Solemn Judgment.
Ooh, and right away we are going to use one of the traps that our opponent knows about. We are going to use the Gold Pride Stardier Engines on the Druid Swarm.
I like how the card specifically says start on the artwork as well.
I think the Gold Pride sort of theme is that you're on a racetrack. Right, and this is, I might be getting this completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure, because there are chariots and various
it does
other
make
things.
sense for sure.
And, yeah, so this is the start of the race.
By rolling a dice, they decide which random card is going to find its way onto the field, and it's going to be another Leon there. I mean, we already had Leon, so that's not really the card you wanted there.
I think we have all of the ones that we're playing in the main deck, right?
Yeah.
Is there another one except for... is there a different one than...
I think there are just
Carry,
these three.
Leon?
There are just these three that exist at the moment.
No, there's
and the
Nitro Head as well, but
Oh.
Nitro Head is like a specific one that you don't really need here, I want to say. So there's all the Bystials. There is Magnamut again. I mean, we just searched with the Rebellion, so it's kind of obvious.
Druid Swarm getting a lot of value there.
Yeah.
Both being destroyed and then using its effect in the graveyard. Such a great tool for picking apart boards when you're going second.
Banishing the Lubellion, bringing itself to the field, of course using its effect, and Fabian considering to respond to that, but that is fine.
And just an attack.
Looks like it, yeah. And it's dangerous to leave Fabian on so many monsters, right? Because they could just be a quick and easy Psychic End Punisher to seal this game here very, very quickly.
I think the Rollerballer can fuse during your opponent's turn, but it's So I think maybe he needed to force it out or attack over it before he could continue with whatever plan he had for main phase 2.
Yeah, that's very likely.
But why did he not go for the pinballer here? Because I think he could have just quick... Or did he just activate the Magnum in the battle phase?
Oh, that's also possible, actually. That's a good point. I mean, I think sometimes if your opponent says battle phase, sometimes it's just worth it just to let them if they've only got the one monster.
I mean, you are safe now because with P.U.N.K decks, it's always dangerous because you are putting yourself on a very low amount of life points. So it is always dangerous for your opponent to just quickly get a bunch of damage in. Well, not even a bunch, but just the appropriate amount. And therefore, Fabian will be happy to see another turn.
And Leon is activated onto the normal summon of Starliege Cypher, I suppose. And we're going to see Starlion in the extra monster zone, which is eventually going to pop the Cypher.
That is indeed what is happening here. Esteban checking his cards in hand. Does he have any way to prevent this? He does not. Starliege Cypher going to the graveyard.
He's almost used like every Bystial. So
there's not much left, yeah.
Yeah, is he going to have another way to get a monster onto the field?
He did just normal summon, so there wouldn't be that many ways.
This almost seems like a desperation play, right?
looks like he's grabbing his deck there, and that would indicate him going to the end phase. But not just yet, or... Oh!
Yeah, he can summon Lubellion still.
True. For a second, I thought he's banishing all 3 monsters in his graveyard, and we're going to see Levy.
Is that a Lubellion in attack mode?
Yeah, it's angry.
It's angry Lubellion.
But is it allowed to summon itself in the attack position?
It is. It's just everyone normally summons it in defense. I'm just a bit confused why you'd summon it in attack mode in main phase 2.
Oh, but there is dangerous Gabu being activated. And there is the Kurikara!
But
wow!
Is that so strong against those 2 monsters here? Because, I mean, fair enough, Star Leon would have summoned
would have summoned back a regular Leon,
right?
and then would have drawn you a card as well with the Start Your Engine. I keep calling it Start Your Engine.
It's
better luck next time.
Next time, yeah.
Exactly.
And there is still, of course, the Black Dragon Collapse Serpent in his hand.
See Fabian there just sort of playing with the Solemn Judgment. I think we Solemn this, right?
We do indeed. Solemn Judgment is going to negate the summon of the Black Dragon Collapse Serpent there.
And that means that it has never entered the field, so you cannot get the surge off of it.
Yeah. Unlike the Bystials, Collapse Serpent is not an effect to special summon. It's a condition to special summon, which means it doesn't start a chain and can be negated by Solemn Judgment.
But let's not forget about the end phase effect of Kurikara Divincanate, so we could just special summon out something from our opponent's graveyard.
A wealth of monsters to choose from. Which are the best P.U.N.K, do you think, to take to your side of the field?
I mean, none of them do really have any quick effects to use on your opponent's turn. So I don't think I would go after a P.U.N.K, and I would much rather prefer to... Yeah, I mean... Oh wait, does he have a target to search for? Because this triggers on special summon. Jam Dragon Drive triggers on special summon.
It's a special summon by the effect of a P.U.N.K monster,
Oh,
right?
okay. So usually it's its own effect.
But the good thing about having the Jam Dragon Drive is that you are now able to respond to the P.U.N.K effects of your opponent, because otherwise the P.U.N.K Jam Dragon Drive would special summon itself out after you responded to a P.U.N.K effect, which means it would be special summoned by a P.U.N.K card, which is itself, and then it would be able to search again. So I think it is valuable to take this resource away from your opponent.
But play goes back to Fabian. He's only left with a Leon. Let's see what he can do out of it. I mean, there are potentially 2 extra draws he can get off of the Extreme Session if he gets this engine going again, paying life points. But be aware, he's only on 2,350 life points
I was looking at that. His life points are very low with the Solemn, so...
He can only basically pay for 3 P.U.N.K effects. That would enable him to draw 2 cards with the Extreme Session, and it would also make up for a pretty decent Psychic End Punisher, but... Let's see whether he gets to that even.
I mean, he still has the Leon on the field.
I'm still confused why this Lubellion is in attack mode. He's just hanging out there.
What do we have here? Is that a card that helps? It's the normal summon of the Ghost Ogre we were holding in our hand. He didn't find a good time to use it because Esteban, quite frankly, didn't give him a good timing to use it. He played around the card he knew, and he now has to normal summon it. And what is he even trying to accomplish here?
Might be another copy of Chariot, because they're both level 3 monsters. Well, not another copy, the same copy of Chariot.
Yeah. He's only running one, but it bounced itself back to the extra deck. Oh, there's Baldrake being used.
This
Nice,
looks like
yeah.
an exceeds. I was thinking we might go for MX Saber Invoke and go for a full Zodiac combo here, but I doubt that this is going to happen. But we are indeed seeing the Chariot.
We're only in 2019. I think that's too far back.
The thing is, we can now just use the Baldrake. Baldrake is tributing Globalion, and the Chariot is going to be banished. Do we have a way to extend through that? We do with a special summon of Kashira Fenrir.
This has always been a really great play to pick apart fields. I mean, it's facing its nemesis, the Kurikara, basically.
Well, this time it's got free reign just to send that Kurikara into the face-down banished zone.
The problem is I don't think he has any way to run over one of the monsters on the side of Esteban there.
Yeah, they're both. All of the monsters are too big for Fenrir, so I guess you just crash into the defense mode.
Yeah, for 0 damage, I think. Or you can just...
Or you can just attack and trigger a replay.
Oh,
What's going on here?
okay.
He definitely had motion to attack the Kurikara.
Yeah, that means he's going to crash into it, right?
Oh, you do get a replay because the monster was banished.
Yeah, you absolutely do.
I mean, he still left the Kurikara on the field.
It just seems strange to ever point the Fenrir at the Kurikara.
Yeah.
Unless you're banishing the Kurikara.
Now Fabian is
doesn't it?
thinking again, do I really want to attack into this? It does not seem like a good idea, especially because he's so low on life points.
Yeah, I mean, you take 2100 damage, so...
He does do it though. We are going to crash the Fenrir into the Kurikara, and what's happening next? Is there a way to
Special
capitalize
summon.
on that?
Another
Special
Fenrir.
summon.
Then it's
Death.
another Fenrir in defense, and he's on 250 life points. That
What is the
not that
meaning
much.
of this?
Isn't this just switch to attack and swing for game?
It does look like that.
Does he think that he will maybe... Oh, this is the fist bump. Esteban wins this too.